Meeting to order. Welcome everyone to the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners meeting. I will note that all the commissioners are present except for Commissioner Engel and Commissioner Lynch. Both are excused. We did have one on virtual, but they're en route to the meeting. I would note that the board met in an executive session to discuss matters permitted by law, including litigation, real estate, personnel matters, bond settlements, and related activities. And all discussions were informational. And we will lead tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence and I would ask Commissioner Pond to lead us in the pledge. Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start the meeting with petitions and complaints and suggestions. Are there any citizens who would like to come before the board tonight? Yes, sir. Your name, state your name, address.
Hey, who's this guy?
He looks familiar.
Yeah.
Mr. Vice President, Justin Fleming. I am resident of 109 Fawn Court here in Susquehanna Township, and I will confine it to 3 minutes, I promise you. So I wanted to come before the Board of Commissioners and formally invite you to the open house that my office is having, state representative for the 105th Legislative District, covering all of Susquehanna Township, Pembroke Borough, and parts of Lower Paxton Township. And we're having an open house next Thursday, March 16th, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Our office is located at 4807 Jonestown Road. And like I said, I just wanted to invite the commissioners and any resident who would like to in the district to come on down. We do ask that you RSVP if you're planning to come, but that there's a link in order to do that. And we just want to inform the residents of the state services that are available that can be provided through my office, to include a property tax rent rebate, any issues with PennDOT, if you lose a driver's license, if you need a birth certificate, things of that sort. Any sort of state service that you need, our office can certainly try to provide. So I just wanted to, again, formally invite the commissioners and the staff to do that. I would also say shortly after taking office, my office did meet with Manager Kabolka and Assistant Manager Logan just to discuss how we want to be partners with what the township has going on. We can sign grant support letters. We provided information on state grants that are available to the township, and so just again looking to be a willing partner with Susquehanna Township and help you in your agenda to serve the residents. So if my office can be helpful, Manager Kabolka knows how to reach us, and so I just wanted to thank you, and I hope to see you all at the open house next Thursday. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Doing a great job and following you very closely on Twitter.
Thank you,
and
Mr. Vice
Facebook.
President.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come before this board tonight? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Let's move on to the approval of the minutes for February 23rd. Do we have a motion?
I'll move for approval of the minutes for February 23rd.
We have a first and second. Are there any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, so there was no workshops. Reports of, are we there yet? No, we're at recognitions and presentations. Are there any?
There are no recognitions.
None, seeing none, okay. We'll move on to reports of committee, buildings and ground.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Not much to report, but the building facade is now complete. Electrical work continues, and we are waiting for the new generator. We don't currently have an operating generator, is that correct?
Mostly, that is correct. Yes, we do have a, one that can get us by in a pinch, but
Oh.
not all of our systems. The primary generator is expected to be delivered in June.
Okay. That concludes my report.
Oh, thank you, sir. Budget and Finance.
Yes, Mr. President, the Budget and Finance Committee met on March 7th and gave its blessing to a couple of proposals. One, a draft request for proposals for banking services for the township, and the other was a investment policy statement for the township's deferred compensation plan. If the manager wants to elaborate on any of that, appreciate it, but whatever you think.
Just on the banking services request for proposals, we anticipate issuing that sometime early next week. And that would be for the purpose of kind of testing the water. We've been with Centric Bank now for a number of years. They're presently going through a merger. So the time is right for us to see if we could, perhaps we'll stay there, or there'll be another alternative that better suits our needs. I would expect approximately 1 month from the time we issue it before bids are due. And we'll have a time to evaluate proposals, and we will work with the Budget and Finance Committee on those evaluations and a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for an award, probably sometime in May.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Public Works, that's my report. I'm going to bypass this one because I'm chairing the meeting, but the maintenance crew did work on cold patching throughout the township. They're starting up street sweeping at this time. They've been in Edgemount Park and Veteran Parks, just starting with the parks, installing drainage pipes, and they've been attending training for the authority. And I'll just keep that simple at this time right now. I'll let the Public Works Department, if they have anything, they can report later. Moving on to Health and Sanitation, Commissioner Captain.
Thank you, Mr. President. At one of our recent township meetings, Joel Washock from Penn Waste had attended the meeting and was discussing options that may be available to move residents to automated collection with mobile carts for the trash, similar to the receptacles we have for recycling. So last night, Wednesday, March 8th, a meeting of the working group of commissioners met with the township manager and assistant manager to discuss any questions or concerns we might have. And then the township manager is going to be meeting with Joel Washock to get answers to those questions and concerns to see if it's something that we can move forward in discussing. And on another topic, yard waste collection will resume again this year. First collection is Saturday, March 18th. And that concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And we'll move on to admin personnel. That's for me as well. We'll move on later in this meeting to discuss an agreement with one of the unions. I'll move on to police. Commissioner Engel isn't here. Do you have anything for police?
Nothing, sir.
Okay. On to fire and EMS.
No report tonight.
No report. Thank you. Recreation.
I do have something, Mr. President. So the Redwood Hills Property Study Committee met on February 28th to discuss the site survey. Then we'll have our first public open house on Tuesday, March 28th between 6 and 7:30 at the Greater Zion Missionary Baptist Church on 212 North Progress Avenue. All residents are encouraged to attend, especially those who live in the Redwood Hills area. And that will be all.
Thank you.
Can I just, Fred, add, if it's okay, we received information last week about a $140,000 award from the Dauphin County Local Sharing Funding, and the costs are going to be used towards our fire study for the design of the new fire station at Progress Fire. for Crown Point Park play equipment and the construction of the new public works storage facility. We were really happy to get news of that grant. I think it was just like 10 days ago.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll move on now to, oh, I'm sorry. We have to go to planning and zoning. Commissioner Walker.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
We had kind of a busy month last month. The zoning hearing board heard on the 16th, heard an appeal of the zoning administrator's determination that an unpermitted multifamily housing was occurring, and it was a combined appeal and request for variance in case the appeal didn't go their way. They eventually dropped the appeal, and variance was considered and denied by the zoning hearing board. There also was a planning commission meeting on the 27th of February. There were a number of items considered. The first was 4015 Riker Road, which is in Ward 8, which was a subdivision plan for the purpose of dividing a 37-acre lot into two parcels, 34.5 and 2.2 acres. The plan was approved, but it's not before us for review tonight. Will be coming up, something that will be coming up shortly. The second was Tommy's Car Wash waiver request, which is in the 5th Ward. This was a waiver request because they want to remove some trees to give more visibility from Union Deposit Road of the car wash that they're building there. The waiver was recommended for approval and is on our agenda for tonight. The next was 3401 North Front Street, which is in the 1st Ward. This is a consolidation of two lots, North Front Street, 1.9 acres, and the other is 3 acres. This was discussed and then tabled, and the major issue that was discussed was sidewalks along Front Street, as you can imagine. So that's going to be brought before the Planning Commission probably very soon again. And the last one that they considered was phases 1 and 2 of Blue Mountain Apartments, which is in the 2nd Ward. And it is a subdivision land development plan for the purpose of subdividing 4 tracts into 7. And of those 7 lots, lots 1 and 2 are proposed to contain 290 residential units. I believe they are apartments. The plan, this is a plan that was previously recommended for approval in 2014, and I believe approved. I wasn't clear on that. Was it approved?
It was, yes.
Do you have a location for that? Okay.
It's on,
It's at the very end of Oakhurst,
Oakhurst,
Sportsman's golf course. right
yeah,
now.
the proposal is to join Oakhurst with an extension of Continental.
Okay.
And up in the woods there in that corner is where they're going to be
Very good.
doing these. And there was a lot of concerns raised by our staff, including conformance with the comprehensive plan and the official map. So that plan was also tabled, but it'll be back before the Planning Commission, I think, pretty soon too. And also, I wanted to let you know that in the January meeting, Frank Chebnikow, and I'm sure I mispronounced that name, was reelected chair of the Planning Commission, and Kerry Wilson was reelected vice chair of the commission for, I think those are 3-year terms. That concludes my report.
Excellent report. Thank you, sir. We'll move on to bids and agreements. We have nothing there. So we'll move to actions of ordinance, resolution, subdivision, and land development plan. First resolution, excuse me, is for 2023-R-3, a resolution of Susquehanna Township, Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, ratifying a collective bargaining agreement with ASME District Council 90 for a term beginning January 1st, 2023 and expiring December 31st, 2025. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. As you pointed out, we're excited to report that staff and board representatives have been able to negotiate a contract renewal in good faith with ASME District Council 90, representing the Susquehanna Township Authority. The bargaining unit has already voted in favor of ratifying the contract, and so this is really the last approval that's needed in order to put pen to paper and get this contract in place. Staff is recommending adoption this evening of the resolution.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to resolution, the second resolution, 2023-R-4, resolution of Susquehanna Township, Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, amending the Susquehanna Township schedule of fees by establishing attorney fees associated with the filing and settlement of municipal liens. Mr. Manager.
Thank you again, Mr. Vice President. This is a kind of administrative item that had to follow the adoption of ordinance 23-01 at the workshop meeting on February 23rd. There were some conflicts with the township's language with respect to the filing of liens as part of the attorney fees that are collected as part of the filing of liens, excuse me. The intent of the amendment to the ordinance was to really direct to the fee schedule to establish those fees, which are done annually by resolution. Makes it a little bit easier as those fees change. You don't have to amend an ordinance. So a copy has been provided with your agenda. If there's any questions, I can certainly answer them. If there's any questions on why they're so expensive, that's for your attorney over here to my right. And I can answer any questions you might have. We are recommending approval this evening.
All right. Is there a motion?
Mr. President? I was going to say, move to adopt resolution 2023-R4.
Thank you. Is there a
I'll
second?
second. Okay,
Let's go. Who's second?
great.
Fred. Okay. You got that, ma'am? Yes, very good. Okay, so it's been moved second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Are we moving on? Number 3, request for, pardon me? Okay. Request for a waiver for 3523 Union Deposit Road. This is Tommy's Car Wash. Mrs. Logan, assist us.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Tonight before you is a waiver request to remove from section 22-1001.1 tree preservation, planting, and woodland preservation of the Susquehanna Township subdivision and land development ordinance. And you should also have a copy of the provided site plan. The purpose of this waiver is to remove specific trees that would otherwise be required to be preserved to enhance site distance and visibility for the Tommy's Car Wash site. The Planning Commission reviewed this request at their meeting on the 27th and has recommended approval for the waiver. They are replanting, planting new trees on a one-to-one basis in a location that won't affect the site visibility, and they do have a PennDOT permit to remove trees as well.
You?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
no relation, but since it's in the 5th Ward, this time we would like to make the motion that we grant a waiver for the...
It's been moved. Has there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I had a question about replanting. I was looking at that plan, and there's just not a whole lot of space to replant. Looks like they're taking out about 20 large trees, and they're going to be replanting, I guess, 20 trees.
Yeah, I think there's space kind of to the rear of that. I mean, it's not going to be in the
We
right
don't
of
have
way
a
area.
plan, though, as to exactly where those trees are going.
No, we don't. No, we do not.
Should we be requiring that, you think?
We can.
Is it possible that they could be required to plant trees other than their property in the township?
I mean, generally we try to keep it on the same site because this is near a riparian buffer area. I think we want to keep that riparian buffer fairly significant. But if you want to make that a condition of approval, that would be fine.
Perhaps it would be appropriate for me to make that condition upon the replacement of the trees.
That they are, that they submit a site plan or that they're planted elsewhere?
Both.
Explain that again, the alternatives. If they could either,
Well, generally, I mean, I don't think we don't very often see these, and I don't think we really have a policy as to whether or not they would replant on a different site. the site plan, which Commissioner Rockrock was talking about, would be something that they can provide.
Yeah, I was just curious,
Yeah.
looking at the layout.
Yeah,
of
where they
spot,
would
there's
plant,
nothing- It's mostly
um,
paved, you know,
Right.
I don't, in fact, they're taking some other trees down along the edges, it looks like paved. So I just wondered,
Yeah, so, I mean, they would have to replant the ones that are on property that's within the township, not the right of way, the PennDOT right of way, so.
Does the site plan need to specifically reference tree location? Or we can add
We have a landscape plan.
Correct, we have a landscape plan. If it's your desire, we can request that be revised to reflect the new planting locations.
yeah, I think that, let's make that a condition. I would like to see a plan of where they're gonna put those trees, just so that some more thought goes into it, and we have a little input.
You know, I was going to just ask with that, assuming the 20 trees fit on property, great, but if not, I don't know if it'd be possible to do a contingency, have a park director perhaps address like some of the trees like in one or more of the parks. Because I think we're always looking for planting of trees, well, what I know,
Great.
trees, so that may be the fallback is I wanted to stick 20 trees if they're not going to really fit well.
Right.
But the fallback, I think, would be our public parks, and, you know, to put any of the ones that don't fit into a park. I mean, it's not my motion, but I'm just asking the question if that's possible and whether that would make sense.
Mr. President, if
Yes.
I may. So I attended the planning commission meeting, and if it may assuage some fears, it sounds like they have a plan as to where they're going to put the trees. They were mentioning specific types. They said there were going to be some evergreens, and I don't recall at this moment where they said they were going to put them, but they definitely laid it out and had a plan.
Excellent.
And also, it's worth noting that the trees they are taking down were pretty much invasive species and weeds, so it's not going to be a big loss. I thought that was an important point.
Outstanding. And it's very simple to do a landscape plan. The plan is already done. You know, a site plan is already prepared when you're doing something like this. All you're doing is adding circles to show where the trees are and their diameter of that. So it's nothing big. We're not asking for anything big here. Okay? Did we already move in second on that?
a motion second, I don't think we voted.
We didn't vote. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to reports. Township Manager. Any reports, sir?
My report is in your packet. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. There's an attachment on there that is the executive summary from the Route 39 and 743 corridor study that was completed recently by HRG, Tri-County Planning Commission, Dauphin County, and the participant municipalities. You can certainly read that at leisure. If you have any questions, I can answer those. The rest of the report I'll leave as written, except to just say that we're excited to begin planning for the township's first Arbor Day celebration. Arbor Day this year is on Friday, April 28th, so mark your calendars now. Some of the staff, as well as some of the members of the Tree Commission and Commissioner Pine, have a meeting scheduled early next week with the Susquehanna Township School District to talk about possibly collaborating on a tree planting project at Christian McNaughton Park. So we have a lot of big ideas for that, more to come, but we're excited to kick that off this year.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. I don't see Chief in the audience for public safety. Fire Marshal?
No report, sir.
No report. Okay. Mrs. Logan for Community Economic Development?
Thank you. You have my report. If you have any questions, I can.
All right. Public Works Director?
One quick thing, Mr. Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
So,
You want to shut the microphone, please, sir? State your name. So security there.
so as you noted earlier in the Public Works report, you are going to start seeing a street sweeper around. On the nicer days, we're trying to get the low-lying areas cleaned up, the bulk of the cinders up. Street sweeping season did not start yet. We're just trying to get a head start so when it does, we can move quickly and more efficiently. And in conjunction this winter, the authority staff and highway staff have been backing the inlets out. So we want to eliminate as much of getting these cinders and that back into something that we just cleaned up.
Awesome job. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, sir.
Joseph.
Yep. HRD, engineering report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you. The board should have a copy of my engineer's report, and I won't go over that item by item. I do want to touch on two items that were, that came about after submission of the report last Thursday. Two projects were open for bid, the Paxton Church Road Rehabilitation Project and the Boyd Park Project Phase 2. We had 5 bidders for the Paxton Church Road project with a low bid of $1,145,307, which is in line with our construction cost estimate. The apparent low bidder being JBI Group, a contractor we've worked and utilized in the past with good results. So you should expect to see recommendation of award barring us finding their contract documents and bonding information acceptable at the workshop meeting later this month. The Boyd Park project did not have any bids, unfortunately. So we met with township staff to discuss our next steps with that. We will be rebidding most likely again. Slightly different design approach when it comes to the boardwalk crossings as far as some geotechnical exploration that was previously included in the contract. So we'll be pulling that out of the contract upon approval of the township in hopes of soliciting some more bids. We did contact, we had 4 potential bidders, none of which submitted bids. We followed up seeking reasons why they chose not to, a variety of reasons, none really of great concern with the project itself. 2 weren't able to secure subcontractors for varying parts of the project. 1 was a distance issue, they were out Center County, and then the other had some current concerns regarding risk and the wetland and water crossings. So we're going to hope to mitigate some of that risk potentially through the geotech exploration, again, upon approval of the township, and get this project rebid post-haste, hopefully get some good bids.
Any questions for the engineer for Boyd Park? I have one for Paxton Church Road.
Sir.
And that road will be closed during construction?
I believe it's 1 lane. The project's going to be on the agenda for next workshop. I will have further details, or Ryan Hofstar will be attending to speak more in depth about the project. Should you have any questions?
I can wait. And then just if you would ask when the start date is and when are we anticipating completing that project as well?
Yep.
And then the road condition. That would be great for the public.
All that good stuff. Yep.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Did anyone else have any questions for the engineer? No? Okay. From the law bureau.
I've got nothing.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. The school board.
Mr. President, very little report other than the fact the school district has begun construction of a new concession stand at the high school.
Wow, okay, very good. I have no reports for the authority. We'll move on to Shade Tree.
No report other than what the manager's already reported regarding the Amber Day planning.
Oh, excellent.
Arbor Day planning.
Yep, I got you. Communications, and Commissioner Williams is not present. Do we have anything from the?
No report.
No report? Okay, very good. Human Relations?
Yes. The commission met on Tuesday, February 28th, elected officers for the current year, which are the same from the previous year. We also had a virtual presentation by a lawyer from the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission who discussed a proposed regulation change that the State Commission has prepared and is working its way through ERC, etc. It's for the legislature now, and this new regulation would address gender identity and sexual orientation as a protected class under the State Human Relations Act. And then finally, there was discussion and agreement that the commission will set up again this year at the end of July, the 2023 Pride Fest of Central PA. They were there last year and had a lot of nice results and decided to do it again this year. That's my report.
Oh, thank you, sir. We'll move on to Parks.
Unless, Doug, we have,
Doug, you first.
Thank you, board. I do have one announcement. It's with pleasure to announce that both the new playgrounds at Edgemont and Stabler Park are now open and for use.
All right, very good. Thank you. Anything on the Tour de France?
It's, I believe, June 4th.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
And we will be organizing a team and a group of volunteers for a break station. That will be.
Keep these
at
guys
Reservoir Park.
posted. The rookies. You know,
Yeah,
the
we'll get them out there.
Yeah.
Oh, what,
No electric
Doug, would you
bikes.
mind making an announcement
I got
about the candy scramble? What's that
Yeah.
appropriate now?
Yes, the Parks and Recreation Department, along with this Susquehanna Township Alumni Association, will be holding our second annual Candy Scramble at Roscoe Warner Field at the high school, April 1st. It will start at 1 o'clock.
And what the ages are, what, 2 to 8, I think?
2 to 8, yes, are the ages. Thank you.
What was that date again?
April 1st.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
If it does rain, it will be held inside of the gymnasium.
Great report. Thank you, sir. Anything under old business? Seeing none. New business. We'll move on to statements of bills paid. Nothing?
Well, the consent agenda would be moved as a whole.
Oh, okay.
Unless a
I'm sorry.
commissioner wanted to remove an item for discussion.
No, we'll
I
move
move that
as.
we approve the consent agenda.
second.
All right, it's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Okay, so that was all one, correct? Correct. All right, so we're under commission and comments now, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, any comments from the commissioners? One,
I
two,
won't stand in front of you and a record finish here.
that's right, I'm going for it. Motion to adjourn.
Also moved.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carried.